Bruchim Abayim, welcome everyone. We're continuing on Shulchan Aruch Orach Chaim, the beginning of Hilchot Shabbat, Siman Resh Mem Vav. We're starting Seif Dalit, Daf Yud Amud Aleph of the regular prints of Mishna Berura. Shulchan Aruch writes, Yisrael sheizkir shvarim leno Yehudi, lacharosh bahem vechoresh bahem. יש מתירים אם קיבל עליו האינו יהודי אחריות מיתה וגזלה וגנבה ויוקרה וזולה, ויש אומרים דכיוון שאין האינו יהודי יכול למוכרח אם ירצה נקראת בהמת ישראל. If you are in business of lending or renting out your animal, like nowadays you have enterprise and car rental services, back in the day, and again nowadays in a smaller in a miniature way, we have this still in farm business, and some of the industries still will deal with actual animals, whether it is the cows, whether it is the horses, and so on. But most of these things have been replaced already by machinery and tractors and combined machines and so on and so forth, but which would not be applicable in this case. But back in the day, they had, somebody had, good strong cows, and in the plowing season or harvest, they would actually rent out their behemah to whoever wanted to rent it. So now you want to rent it to a goy, the goy is going to be working on Shabbat. Is there a way for a Jew to make it more lucrative for the goy to rent it, because you don't want to tell him, well, I don't want you to work on Shabbat, and I'm going to come police you. You have to return my animals every Erev Shabbat and take them back on Motzei Shabbat. You don't want to do that. It's not very lucrative for business. So is there a way to deal with it? So Shlomo says there are those who say that if you rent out your animals to the goy, and you have basically given every responsibility to the goy. You say, look, if anything happens, all the achrayut, if my animal dies, if it's stolen, if it's you're held up by gunpoint and you lose my animal, gets expensive, cheap, all of that is on you. You're taking full achrayut. So there are those who say taking full achrayut like that already is like ownership, a momentary ownership, and it's the goy's. The goy could do whatever he wants with it. And there are others who disagree, right? And they're more stringent. They say no. There's one big thing that the goy cannot do. You know what he can't do? He can't sell the animal. And if you can't sell it, it's not yours. I don't care how much responsibility you have put on yourself. If you can't sell this animal, you're not the owner. Ownership is defined by, can I sell it? If I can't sell it, I'm not the owner. And for being able to work the animal on Shabbat, it has to be outside of the ownership of the Jew. It has to be completely owned by the goy. Is it completely owned by the goy? No, it's not. If it's not, you can't have the goy work the animal on Shabbat, because it is considered Reuben's cow, and Reuben's cow is working on Shabbat. That is on Reuben. That is going to be his responsibility to see to it that the animal is not working on Shabbat. So that's the two shitot in the Shulchan Aruch, as we have mentioned many times, regularly speaking. When Maran brings yesh omrim veyesh omrim, when he brings two yesh omrims, there are those who say like this and there are those who say like that, he means to paskin like the second yesh omrim, which in this case would be the stringent opinion, the second one, that this would not actually be allowed, despite the fact that the goy has accepted full responsibility. So says the Shulchan Aruch in Seif Hey, Im Yisrael v'enu Yehudi shtafin bebema. What if you are partners with a goy in ownership of an animal? How about that? I don't own it fully because he also owns it. I own it, but he owns it. He owns it, but I own it. It's a shutafut. It's partnership. What happens then? So says the Shulchan Aruch, מותר לעשות בה אינו יהודי מלאכה בשבת על ידי שיתנה עם האינו יהודי בתחילה שקנו אותה שייטול האינו יהודי בשבת וישראל ביום חול. If you, when you go to the marketplace to buy this animal, you make a condition of ownership to begin with. You say, Shabbat, I don't own this animal. right? Shabbat, this is yours. Whatever you want to do on Shabbat, if you work and you make money, it's not mine. It's 100% yours, 100%. This is a shutafut. You could, like any other business endeavor or investment that you initiate, in the beginning of the initiation, you could set rules and regulations. It's not up in the air. It's not legal loophole. It's real. You could say, look, whatever happens on Shabbat, if this cow hits the jackpot on Shabbat, it's yours. If you work and make, you get a great deal and someone pays you $1 million to rent the cow on Shabbat, it's all yours. I have zero chelek on Shabbat, nothing, not mine. Not 1% of it even, not mine. If you make that condition, that the goy owns him on Shabbat and the Jew owns it one day corresponding to the Shabbat on the weekdays, for instance, Mondays is mine, right? Then that's fine. It becomes like a regular shutafut, like a store that you buy. It's no different than that. And if not, if he didn't make that tenai, that condition from the beginning, then it's asur, because the cow is 50-50, 100% 50-50. And therefore, the 50% that belongs to the Jew cannot be working on Shabbat, right? And hence, the whole thing would be asur on Shabbat. Even though that afterwards he said, oops, now the Dirshu Dafayomi Ba'alacha got to Siman Reshmim Vav, we didn't know this before. You know what? No problem. From now on, Shabbat is yours, Monday is mine. It doesn't work. It does not work. Because you did not do it in the very beginning, that will become like a trick. It's not kolashari. It's not like it's not a real thing, because you did not make it in the beginning of the partnership. And if a goy is going to lend out to, the Jew is going to lend out this completely to the Eino Yehudi, to the goy, you could say, look, you could do whatever you want. This is not my cow. It is my 50% mine, but I am giving it to you. You could do whatever you want with it. I'm lending it to you. You know, in Lashon HaKodesh, halva'a is loaning something. Has two different languages, right? There's she'ela and there's halva'a, right? She'ela is borrowing, and halva'a is also borrowing. In English, there's no two words for it. If I want to borrow money from you, what do I say? Can you lend me some money? If I want to get your kitchen knife, can I borrow? Can you lend me your kitchen knife? It's the same language, right? In Lashon HaKodesh, there are two distinctly different languages which mean two different things. Sometimes you borrow something and you use it and finish it, and then you return something equivalent. But I tell you, can I borrow an egg? I don't mean give me an egg and I'm going to put it in my thing over there for showcase and then return the egg to you. No. You know that I'm going to eat it and return another egg to you. But I borrow money is the same thing. I'm going to spend the money. Milveh lehotza'ah nitna. Lashon of halva'a is always when you are going to finish this and return something else to me. Therefore, halva'a is used for money, because I'm not going to return the same money, hopefully, to you. I'm going to go spend the money, make more money, and return to you equivalent, right? It's going to be used for egg. I don't borrow a loaf of bread because I want to eat it. I'm not returning that loaf, right? So you never would use lashon of she'ela. She'ela is when you return the same thing. Halva'a is when you use it up and you return the equivalent, right? So that's important to understand this Shulchan Aruch. If you give it as a halva'a, say this, you could use it. You could use it, I mean, you could sell it, you could shecht it, you could do whatever you want with it, right? You have to return to me the equivalent, but this is yours. Today, I'm giving this to you completely, complete dominion over this to the degree that you could sell it. You are now sole owner today. You owe me the equivalent. In other words, if the cow is worth $5,000, I'm lending you $2,500. That's what I'm doing. But if you decide today that you really are craving some shish kebab, and you go and shech this cow, because I can't sue you, I can't take you to bed. It's fine. Just pay me the $2,500 and you're good to go, right? If you do that, that you could kill the cow, you could sell the cow, you could do whatever you want with the cow, then it's mutar. Because who's the owner on Shabbat? The goy. How many percent? 100%. I am 0% owner. I just have a loan now in the hand of the goy for $2,500. That's all I have. I have zero ownership of this cow. And it's mutar. You see, this is a very technical thing. You can't have ownership of your animal working on Shabbat. We cannot have that. If you get rid of the ownership completely and totally, then you're good to go. ויש מתירין אפילו לא יהיה רשות ביד היהודי להוציאם על ידי שיזקוב הדמים על העין היהודי במלווה ויחזור העין היהודי ויעשה אפוטיקי לישראל או יחרהנם אצלו ובלבד שלא יאמר לו מעכשיו. Now there's another way to do this a little bit more complicated, and there are those who say even that complicated way would be mutar. What's the complicated way? That instead of completely giving a blanket, green light to the goy to do whatever he wants, you could restrict him in a way that does not restrict the ownership. How do you do that? You give it to him completely, right? But you tell him that the money of this, that $2,500 that you owe me now, it will be like a halva'ah, that he owes that money to me because I gave him ownership of the cow, right? And it will be like a milveh, like I gave you $2,400. And then he will give a guarantee on the cow to me on the loan, right? So now he can't sell it anymore. Because now this cow is a guarantor. It's his, 100% is his, but it's a guarantor to a loan that he took out, so he can't sell it. You hear what's happening? So if you want to guarantee, it's like this is like a legal loophole. You could create a legal loophole in a way that you are ensuring that he's not going to sell the cow or shech the cow, but at the same time, he technically can. Halachic, because it's his, completely his, not mine. But it's my guarantor to my loan. So I could take it back to cash out the loan that he has to pay $2,500 to me. So says the Shcharuch, or you give it as a mashkon, right? Rahn, which in Lashon Ishmael and the Farsi also is a rah. It's exactly this. Yahar Henem, that means it's a mashkon. It's a object of guarantee, basically, right? It's the same, basically accomplishes the same thing. But you don't say from this moment it should be rahan or it should be apotiki. You just say it's stam, and that would be good. ויש מתירין על ידי שיזהיר Yisraeli את העיר היהודי שלא יעשה בה מלאכה. And there are those who say, you know what, you could do simpler. You just give your animal to the goy to work, and you tell him, look, I don't want you to work on Shabbat. I'm a Yid, I'm a Jew, I can't be working on Shabbat. My animals cannot be working on Shabbat. So I'm asking you, do not work my animal on Shabbat. And if you do, you agree? He says, yes, I agree. He says, okay, fine. If you do work, if I find that you work my animal on Shabbat, then the achrayut of the animal is completely on you. And even if you are held by the gunpoint, onis, mamash onis, and something happens to this animal, it's completely your achrayut and responsibility. And you write this on a legal document in the arkaot of the goyim, in the court system, which is not. That doesn't mean that you go to court. The Shulchan Aruch in Choshen Mishpat Siman Chafvav discusses this actually, that this is not considered going to arkaot. You're using the legal documentation of the government to gain the government force if someone does something wrong, especially here in this case is a goy. In this case, if he starts working it on Shabbat, what happens? At that moment, is no longer the Be'ema of Yisrael. He's completely acharayi for everything that happens to it, and therefore he would be, technically speaking, considered like the owner. Says the Rama in the end of the Haggah over here, all of these options of leniency that we mentioned, they're halacha. It's not that they're one or the other. All of them, all these leniencies could be halacha. So you could do any of them that you want. Says the Rama, even if the be'ema completely, forget about the shutafut, even if it's completely 100% owned by a yid, it's the same halacha. But you have to make this known to people that you're doing it in a hetetic way, in a mutter way, not regular. Now, over here in Bet Yosef, Maran writes that the achrayut of Shabbat should be on him. Over here, it doesn't say achrayut of Shabbat. He says the achrayut of the complete animal is on him, even from a gunpoint force onus. So from here you see that Maran in Shulchan Aruch holds that you need the complete responsibility of achrayut of all the days to rest on the shoulder of the goy if he deviates from the agreement and starts working the animal on Shabbat, right? So that's that. Says the Mishna Berura.
All those last examples were when you had a Shitu for them. We had 50-50 ownership.
So the Rama says no. The Rama says that all the heterim could be workable even if you own completely the animal, but you do it in a heter way, in such way that the goy completely owns the animal. For instance, imagine if I own the animal, right? So of course, I didn't have a moment of shutafut to tell the goy, well, Shabbat, I don't own any of this. You can't do that, that's for sure, right? Because I'm the sole owner. But what I could do is, I could go to the goy and say, OB, I'm giving this to you, it's worth $5,000, right? View this as $5,000 loan, which means you could shach the animal. I have no attachment to it. You could shach it. You could cut it to pieces. Whatever you want to do. You want to sell it. Doesn't make a difference. You just owe me $5,000, right? So why wouldn't that work? Says the Rama. That would also work. Even if I'm the sole owner, it still would work. Right? You just have to make sure that there's no marit ayin. Because if everyone knows that this red heifer, this cow, the completely white cow with a little small blue dot on his, I don't know, whatever, it's Uziel's cow, then of course it's a problem of marit ayin. So you have to make sure that there's no marit ayin. You have to make it mefursam, that you're doing it in a mutter way, with the hechsher of rabbanut or badatz, and that would be a mutar, right? Because it doesn't make a difference if I'm a sole owner or I'm a partner, which is very much sensible. So that works with that, and that works with the rahan also. Same thing. If you make it apotiki or you make it rahan, this whole thing is a loan, but really the cow becomes the guarantor to the loan, so you can't really sell it. Even that would work according to the Shulchan Aruch and the Rama.
That's not a steer to the prior Shlomo that we said, that renting it out.
No, because renting, the guy cannot sell it, right?
Why can't you say in the rent agreement that it's completely yours?
Then it's not a rent. You're renting money to him.
What's the renting, what's the lashon for rent? It's not how
Sechirut.
something else.
Yeah. I could rent my animal. It's mine, completely mine. You're using it, and you pay for the service, right? Well, yeah. Yeah, and you cannot touch the thing, and you're not achrai for it. You know, if you're renting a cow, and you're working a normal work, and it dies under the work, you didn't overload it, regular load, regular work, meta machmat melacha, you're patur, right? But over here you'll be hayav because you're accepting even unsin on yourself, right? Or in the previous case, it's even better. You're completely the owner. The only thing is you have a technical issue, you have a technical issue why you can't sell it because you made this the guarantee to my loan. But really what happened is you just owe me $5,000. If you pay me $5,000 right now, you could turn around and shoot the animal in the head. Well, that's Arbal Chaim, but saying, you know what I'm saying? The only reason that stops you from selling it is because you owe me money, and this is the guarantor. But really, you're the full owner, full 100% owner of the cow. So if you work it on Shabbat, because I can stark, no, I have no problem with that. It's not my animal. It's just the guarantor, it's a collateral for me to collect my loans. And because you officially made it a collateral, you cannot sell it until you pay me my loan. You know, so it's just like a loophole to make sure he doesn't sell it necessarily, but it's completely his, halachically and legally speaking. That really brings us to the next thing. There's not much to discuss in the Mishna Berura over here, but Hashem will discuss and continue in the days to come. Hazak Berura.